Sorry, we're back. We're just so we're starting with the fourth beer. You guys just got it now. Smelling it.
This guy is a baby. Come on.
You said blindfold on.
Yes. So, who wants to give his first impression?
Sarah.
Okay.
Aroma seems kind of grapefruit. Taste is kind of grapefruit. It's very effervescent. That's as far as I've got yet.
Okay, Ben.
I find the aroma is very muted. I'd agree with the grapefruit on the palate. It's quite a delicate beer. It's just after the Dungarvan beer. I find it's not as expressive. It's a hint of bitterness, a little bit of fruit. I don't know. It's a much lighter beer anyway. But I'm still thinking about it. So on to Kieran.
Okay, Killian.
Do I have the mic?
Yeah, Killian, go ahead.
Okay. I think it's the hoppiest beer we've had so far. I think there's a nice hoppy nose. I think it's a New World style IPA.
Mm-hmm. Killian.
Yeah, I'd second that. It's definitely, I think, more American style. I think it's probably a pale or IPA. Probably an IPA because on the palate it feels like it's got a little bit more alcohol than the last. The first and third beer. Maybe not more than the 7.7% porter, but I think it's an IPA. It's grapefruit, like Sarah said, tropical fruit. I don't actually think it's muted on the nose. Like I think Ben thought it was muted. Like
no, me neither.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more. I think it's probably a bit more vocal than the Dungarvan. An IPA of sorts. Anyway, not quite sure which one yet, but we'll see.
Okay. Anybody else? So, what do you think is the ABV on this beer? Let's start with you again, Killian.
I think it's probably about 6% and up. I'll just keep saying that until I get it right. But I do think it's about 6% or up. It has a nice bit of hoppiness, probably more so on the nose actually. Again, initially it was very hoppy on the nose, nice kind of sharp citrus, grapefruit and tropical fruit. But on the palate there's a little bit more malt coming through, not aggressively hopped or anything. But it's nice and hoppy, very fruity. It's quite a nice IPA. I think it's about 6% or up.
Okay. Kieran?
Strength 5.6, I think. But I'm tending to underestimate all the beers tonight. Again, I'd say it's an IPA in around 5.5 to 6%. I like it.
What about you, Sarah?
I'd say it's probably around 5. I mean, there's a little bit of a burn, but that doesn't necessarily mean, there's different types of alcohol that can come out of brewing. There's higher alcohols that can cause a burn. So I suspect that it's still probably around 5%.
Okay, Ben?
I'd agree that it's probably, I'd say a little bit higher, somewhere around 6%. The grapefruit I tend to associate with American hops. So yeah, an IPA, something along the lines of a Scraggy Bay. It's got the American IPA flavours, but maybe not the intensity that you normally associate with an American IPA.
Mm-hmm. Okay, do you guys like it, Ben or Sarah, at the moment?
Yeah. It's a very palatable beer. It's like it's not aggressive, but it's the flavours that are there are nice and clean, and it's well balanced. Yeah, nice beer.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's flavorful and clean, so that makes a good drinking beer.
What would you pair it with?
Pair it with
what kind of food?
Pears.
That's a tough one now. Maybe some kind of fruit tart, because it has a lot of tartness on the grapefruit. So yeah, maybe a nice raspberry tart.
Killian?
What was the question? It's quite a nice beer. I'd drink it again, definitely. I think as Ben was saying, it's not too aggressive. It's quite palatable. It's drinkable, but the flavour is all there. It's got like some nice hopping to it, slightly grapefruity, tropical fruit again, citrus fruit again. But for me, that's more on the nose than it is on the palate. The palate has a little bit more malt, balanced enough. You could probably drink 3 or 4 of these, as opposed to 5 or 6 of these. I think it's probably a step above a pale ale in terms of alcohol. But yeah, I drink it again. It's quite nice.
Okay, Kieran.
I think I like the beer. I like it a lot. The kind of tropical grapefruity things make me think more Southern Hemisphere hops. But I mean that's just trying to define where in the spectrum of IPA it is. But I'd say 5.6% IPA.
Okay, and does the beer actually evolve from the first taste to this? Now that you've been tasting this beer for about a few minutes, has it changed? Is it evolving in you? Did you get things that you didn't get in the first time?
I think for me anyway, it's kind of similar to the last beer we had. Like it started off a lot lighter and kind of sharper, I suppose, and then it kind of rounds out as it goes on in time. But I think that's just the malt coming through.
The sweetness in the malt starts to come through.
Yeah. Yeah, so like
maybe it's slightly darker rather than lighter IPA. Maybe
perhaps. Yeah. I think my first impression was really like an American IPA. It was really sharp. Citrus fruits kind of cutting. It smelled like it would taste really nice and bitter and fresh and hoppy. It's hoppy. It's got the fruit expression, but it's not very bitter, which is actually it probably works to its benefit. It's more drinkable for that. Then the malt started to come in, and so now it's a lot more, kind of caramel malt and toffee malt, and not like too cloying. It's quite balanced.
Can we take our blindfolds off?
Not yet. Not yet. I want to hear.
What more do you want from us?
Is it a guess you want?
Yeah. Have you had this beer before, do you think? Can you guess?
Only because there's lots of grapefruit and it does kind of mellow. There's a mellow malt finish. I suspect it might be N17's rye ale.
Okay. Ben?
I like that guess.
We had this 3 weeks ago when you guys were on the show. We had the N17.
So it's clearly not that. I'm going to say
I didn't say anything. I just said that we had the N17 before.
So the gentle hopping it's got a nice kind of rounded hop thing without being without the punch of a real American IPA, which is something I noted from the Kinnegar beers. But so I'm just going to stick with Scraggy Bay or maybe Rust Bucket. I don't know.
Sarah, let me get back to you. Do you think that some of the acidity and the flavor comes from rye?
Acidity, no. See, rye, I think, can tend to make for a very dry beer, but that's kind of a red herring because I don't think N17 has a distinct rye dryness to it. So so I'm not necessarily saying that it is a rye ale. I'm just suspecting that because of the grapefruit, it could be N17.
Okay. Kieran, you want to try to venture a guess?
No, I don't really. No.
Killian.
I guess as the actual beer itself, I don't think so. The more Kieran was talking about Kinnegar, the more I started to think of Rust Bucket, but I don't think it has like this kind of spiciness or kind of like the more assertive, grapefruit hop flavors of Rust Bucket. I think Rust Bucket's a bit sharper than this. This seems more round, so I don't think so. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to stick my neck on the line.
Would you have it again?
Yes, yeah, it's quite nice. Again, we're all hopheads, and I think I wanted more from the palate. After smelling it initially, it was kind of more sharper citrus, grapefruit, and zesty. I wanted more of that in the palate. It's a bit rounder now, but it's still quite nice. It's a very nice beer.
Ben, you want to say something?
When Killian talks about the promise on the nose that doesn't quite live up to it on the palate, is that a result of dry hopping?
You're asking me, is it?
Well, in just the world in general.
The world in general. Well, it's only me who has the microphone, so.
I can't see you, Chief.
I think so. I mean.
Well, for instance, have you come across Randalls?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Like
I mean,
the only effect a Randall has, and often you see a bar put a pretty moderate ale through a Randall, and what it does is it gives you a lovely hop aroma, and you go, "Oh yeah, this is going to be good," and then you drink it, and it tastes exactly like the ale.
Yeah, I think I had that experience from a certain brewery from Cork that I won't name. Dry hopped, and I think, oh yeah, it's quite nice. But no, like there's no bitterness, and like I know bitterness isn't the end of in this
It comes with the package.
Yeah, it does. Like, and I mean, it really affects how you taste the beer. If it's quite bitter, like I mean, those zesty flavors and the piney flavors, they go hand in hand with the bitterness of the beer, I think.
Yeah.
I think you guys can take off your mask now. I think we made you suffer enough.
I'm gonna lose an eye.
I forgot to ask you about the color, but anyway, but
I just said that much, pretty much.
the beer we're tasting at the moment is
Well, we also
independent pale ale.
From Carlisle.
The ABV on the beer is 6%, so you were actually already close.
class.
Yes, you bet as well. Two out of two, 2 out of 4 actually.
Fair enough. I was drinking an independent ale last night. Their golden ale, which to me is just a style that almost shouldn't exist. They may as well call it bland ale, but their version of a golden ale was really nice and fruity and had a lot more going on than your typical beer that's termed golden ale does. I think golden ale is meant to be an entry level craft beer or something, but it usually just is little more than
Well, it's just ale version of lager, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of what it's.
But the independent golden ale actually has quite a lot of length, a lot of fruitiness, and I like this. I would have, and I know Ben would agree with me here that there's too many IPAs, too many beers that are labelled as IPAs, and you're going, no, it's a pale ale. That was a pale ale that we all.
Just for the record, you all thought it was an IPA.
Yeah, we all thought
we
said
did,
it was an IPA.
Yeah.
So again, what's in a label? Everybody puts their labelling in a different position. The goalposts move all the time.
Yeah,
It is an IPA.
So
Independent pale ale, yeah.
like
That wasn't for the listeners.
if it's not for listeners, it's no matter for anyone. Because we're actually doing a radio show, Ben. Just,
it's nice to see a brewery kind of underestimating the hoppiness of their beer.
I had this beer at I think it was the Easterfest last year, and it was on draft, and it was very, very nice, and like actually it was recommended to me as one of the beers of the festival because it was just really, really lovely, expressive American style pale ale, and it has the grapefruit and stuff, and the tropical fruit and the zestiness. But I think I probably liked it first. I liked it better the first time around on draft. I think there's definitely more malt and a bit more sweetness coming around, which is not to a fault. It's just I suppose I thought it was an IPA, and I was expecting an IPA, which is probably a good thing really for independent that they're making such a bold and flavourful pale ale.
Sarah, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I had this pale ale, I think it was last February. It was the first time I tried it, and it was really good. We went to the Franciscan Well. I think it was probably the Easter Fest that they were at, and my boyfriend asked me what should I try first, and I said independent pale ale. That's the best pale ale you're gonna get, and it is very nice. So that's the independent pale ale with the green label. Now the gold one, the gold label is the golden ale, which we also tried, which is not as flavorful. It's not as bold. So yeah, I think the green label pale ale, that's a really nice beer.
And it is green.
Yeah.
What hops would you hazard a guess at being in that beer?
Well, it says on the back of the bottle, so I can actually guess and read. It's Magnum, Columbus, and Chinook.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
All American. So I'm sorry.
Apologize.
To you? I don't think so.
I'm a brewer, and I know my hops, but I would have been hard pressed to actually name the hops in this beer.
I probably would have said Amarillo because it's very good.
I would have said Amarillo too.
When I was working in a craft bar, we had the independent came in and everybody tried it, everybody liked it, but it's a market flooded with Irish pale ales and IPAs, and everybody forgot it, which is disappointing because I recommended it to people, they all tried it, they all liked it, and all went straight back to whatever they liked before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very difficult because that is a nice beer. We all agreed we liked it. We thought it was hoppier than it was apparently, but it just shows it has to be really standout IPA for it to stick in the Irish market.
Okay, we got.
Yeah, because I think that is better than the average Irish pale ale. And there's a lot of Irish pale ales out there that are very, very ordinary, and it just goes to show how kind of hard you need to hit really now to stand out.
Well, pale ale is such a wide category. I think that's why a lot of beers that, as you say, they get marketed as IPAs because there's a lot of hops in them. But if you were to compare it to an American IPA, you might be disappointed.
Okay.
Maybe there needs to be a new
Final word on this beer until we move.
Lovely.
Very good.
Okay. We'll be back shortly with another beer.